Season 2 of Breaking Bad expands the show's scope, intensity, and emotional depth. Following Walter White's entry into the drug world in Season 1, the second season examines the consequences of his choices as his meth operation grows. Relationships become more strained, moral boundaries continue to erode, and the lies become harder to control. The season is marked by escalating danger, greater emotional stakes, and a slow unraveling of the lives connected to Walt's criminal path. With tragedy looming, Season 2 is where Breaking Bad truly becomes a story of transformation and destruction. Walter White, now more confident and calculating, resumes cooking meth with Jesse Pinkman. Having secured a distribution deal with the volatile drug dealer Tuco Salamanca, Walt's drug operation begins to grow. However, Tuco's unpredictability and violent nature quickly make the partnership unsustainable. Tuco kidnaps Walt and Jesse and brings them to a remote hideout, believing his enemies are plotting against him. In a tense showdown in Episode 2, Grilled, Tuco is killed by Hank Schrader, who unknowingly rescues Walt and Jesse. This event sets off a deeper chain of consequences. Walt and Jesse barely escape detection, but their problems multiply as their meth operation continues without Tuco's protection. After Tuco's death, Walt and Jesse decide to build their own distribution network, with Jesse recruiting dealers to push their product. Walt adopts the alias Heisenberg and becomes more involved in the criminal underworld while still lying to his family about his activities. He tells Skyler he is going to therapy, then later claims he's working with his former colleague Elliot Schwartz, all lies meant to conceal his drug empire. Meanwhile, Jesse starts a romantic relationship with Jane Margolis, his new landlord and a recovering addict. Jane becomes a pivotal character in Jesse's life, offering him emotional support and a sense of belonging he hasn't experienced in years. Skyler grows increasingly suspicious of Walt's behavior. She begins investigating his lies, eventually uncovering inconsistencies in his stories. Her trust in Walt continues to deteriorate. Jesse's life becomes more unstable. His relationship with Jane starts to spiral after she relapses into heroin addiction and pulls Jesse with her. Their use intensifies in later episodes, isolating Jesse from Walt and threatening the integrity of their operation. Simultaneously, Walt becomes more ruthless. In episode 10, Over, he states chillingly, "I am not in danger, Skyler. I am the danger." This moment marks a turning point in Walt's psychology. He's no longer just a man trying to support his family. He's a man obsessed with power, respect, and control. As Walt becomes more manipulative, he takes actions that begin to cross irreversible moral lines. When Jane blackmails Walt, threatening to expose his drug business unless he gives Jesse his cut of the earnings, Walt gives in. But in episode 12, Phoenix, he makes a devastating decision. In one of the most haunting scenes of the series, Walt visits Jesse's apartment to try to persuade him to get clean. He finds Jesse and Jane passed out from heroin use. When Jane begins to choke on her own vomit, Walt initially moves to help, but then hesitates and ultimately lets her die. The moment is agonizing and transformative. Walt allows Jane to die to eliminate her influence on Jesse and to regain control over his partner. This decision, though not directly violent, is an act of chilling calculation. Walt chooses silence and power over life. Jane's death devastates Jesse. He blames himself and spirals into a deep depression, unaware of Walt's involvement. The emotional weight of this event underscores the tragic cost of Walt's growing criminal ambition. Throughout the season, several episodes begin with flash-forward sequences. Scorched pink teddy bear pieces floating in a pool, flashing police lights, and body bags. These mysterious images create suspense and a sense of impending doom. In the final episode, a BQ, the puzzle pieces come together. Jane's father, Donald Margolis, is an air traffic controller. Overwhelmed by grief after discovering Jane's death, he returns to work too soon. Distracted and emotionally unstable, he makes a fatal error, causing a mid-air collision of two commercial planes directly above Walt's home. The pink teddy bear, scorched and floating in the pool, becomes a symbol of innocent loss caused by Walt's decisions. Though he had no intent to cause a plane crash, the chain of choices he made from cooking meth to letting Jane die, ultimately triggered the tragedy. The finale masterfully illustrates one of the series' core themes. Actions have consequences, often beyond the immediate and the personal.